Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an Arctic hare named Toklo. Toklo the Arctic hare was a curious and adventurous hare. He loved to explore the forest and learn all about the different plants and animals that lived there, and he loved to share his knowledge with others. One day, Toklo was hopping through the forest when he came across a small brown bear cub. The brown bear cub said to Toklo the Arctic hare,
"Hello, I just crawled out of my cave with my mommy and I'm new. Can you tell me about the forest?"
"Of course," said Toklo, and he continued on saying, "The forest is a big and wonderful place. There are many different plants and animals here." And Toklo took him on a quick tour, and he explained to him all sorts of interesting things, and he even told him about the trees, flowers, birds, and even the different kinds of animals in the forest. The brown bear cub was so impressed by how much Toklo knew about the forest. But Toklo the Arctic hare was explaining so much, and his voice was so low and very calming that the brown bear cub started to yawn. The brown bear cub then said to Toklo,
"You have a very calming voice, and you know so much about this place. You know what? I'm getting super tired. I'm gonna go back to my mother. Thanks for all the help. Bye."
Toklo felt good that he was able to tell the bear cub some things about the forest. This made Toklo the Arctic hare want to know more than any other animal in the forest. So he not only helped every animal in the forest know more about the forest, he studied the forest even more so he can know more than any other animal. One day, Toklo was in the forest observing some new plants he found when he came across a group of beavers who were arguing about where to build their new homes. Toklo the Arctic hare listened to the beavers argue for a while, and then he spoke up. "I know where you can build your homes," he said. "I know all about this forest, and I know the best place for you to build. There is an open creek on the other side of the river that is perfect for you. The place I'm telling you about doesn't have any other homes built there, and it's naturally sheltered from the wind, and there is plenty of food and water." Toklo's voice was so calming that the beavers stopped being upset at each other, and they started yawning and feeling sleepy. Toklo the Arctic hare went on telling the beavers more about the new place to build their homes. One of the beavers said,
Thank you so much for telling us how we should go to the new area to build our home. And we're sorry, we don't mean to yawn and look sleepy while you're telling us about the forest. It's just that your voice, it's so soothing and calming. I even forgot why we beavers were arguing in the first place. But we'll be going to the new place now. Thanks."
And they were grateful to Toklo for his help, and they agreed to build their homes at the open creek on the other side of the river. Toklo the Arctic hare was happy to have helped, and soon he became known as one of the wisest animals in the forest. Animals from all over would come to him for advice and help. Toklo was always happy to help. On another day, Toklo was talking to a group of animals about the forest. They sat around him and they were asking him questions about this and that about the forest, and he was answering them. And Ermine asked Toklo the Arctic hare,
"How come sometimes in the night sky, it's bright with waves of colors that change?"
Toklo said, "Well, there are a few legends about the waves of changing lights in the night sky. One legend has it that the lights are the spirits of those who passed away. and that sometimes they're playing games up there in the sky. And there's another legend that it's a fox's tail running across the sky. Other legends say that they're bad spirits. And another legend says that it's showing us what's on the other side of this life. Some even say the colorful waves could be when the Earth's magnetosphere interacts with the solar winds from the sun. But I think the one about the spirits playing up there is easier to understand. Once again, Toklo the Arctic Hare's voice was so calming and soothing that as he was telling the ermine all about the waves of colorful lights in the night sky, the ermine was about to fall asleep and said,
Sorry. Hey, do you know you have a very calming voice? It's so soothing and it's making me very sleepy. Thanks for telling me all about the night sky. I'm gonna go now.
And the ermine left. Toklo the Arctic Hare said, "Bye. I'll have more to share with you next time." He then continued to talk to the group of animals. Then a squirrel asked about the forest. And then Toklo was excited to share his knowledge again. But this time, he gave a warning. "Just to let you know, other animals have been falling asleep when I start to talk. So I hope you don't fall asleep on me while I talk." The squirrel said,
Oh, that's fine. Don't worry. I'm not even close to being tired. I already took my nap for the day.
So Toklo began to tell them all about the different plants and animals that lived there. The animals were all listening to Toklo the Arctic Hare, talking about everything he knows. They were fascinated by his knowledge of everything. And now, the squirrel was getting very tired. The squirrel was trying so hard to stay awake. And then, the squirrel was trying to keep its eyes open so much, but couldn't match the power of Toklo's calming and soothing voice. And finally, the squirrel couldn't take it anymore. He yawned loudly and fell asleep right in front of Toklo. Toklo the Arctic Hare stopped talking and looked down at the sleeping squirrel. He realized that his voice could be used to help others sleep. And from that day on, when any animal asked Toklo the Arctic Hare about anything, Toklo would warn them first that they might fall asleep. And then he would share all about the things he knew. And the animals listening almost always went to sleep. Even if there ever was a fight between two animals in the forest, other animals would call over Toklo the Arctic Hare to go over to them to start talking to help make the animals stop fighting. And he would. And the fighting animals would just get tired and go back home to rest. In this way, Toklo became the peacemaker in the forest by using his voice. And Toklo the Arctic Hare felt great because he was able to share his knowledge of the forest with other animals he knew. And he would help some go to sleep. And sometimes he would even put himself to sleep. And the Arctic Hare lived happily ever after. The end. The Arctic hare is a species of hare that is adapted to living in the Arctic regions. It is one of the largest North American hares and has long claws on their 4 feet, with the hind legs being longer, which it uses to dig into packed snow and ice and to help it make a hole for a shelter. It can also hop on its rear legs like a kangaroo does and can move as fast as 30 miles per hour as it hops. But while on 4 feet, they can go up to 40 miles per hour. They can measure from 17 to 28 inches long. And with their tail, you can add 1 to 4 inches to that length. They weigh about 6 to 12 pounds, but can go up to 15 pounds. Arctic hares eat plants, but they've also been seen eating fish and meat. And Arctic hares are often solitary animals, which means they live mostly on their own, but can sometimes be seen with large groups. Hares and rabbits are related, but are different animals. Hares typically have longer ears and longer hind feet than rabbits do, and the tail of a hare is longer as well. In the case of the Arctic hare, its ears are actually shorter than other kinds of hares, which can help it to conserve heat when it's cold. The Arctic hare can be brownish or gray or bluish, and the upper coat turns white for winter, while the fur under it remains darker, and the tips of their ears are always black. The average Arctic hare can stand as high as an adult human's knee, and the ears can go a little higher. Have you seen a real-life Arctic hare before? If you have, where did you see it? Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, bye!